This question is Carlos Bobby became pregnant, a story no one could believe but Decatur. Right? So the link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out. If you watching on Twitter, the link to the video will be on top. So listen to this fucking 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh.
A young college student carried a secret that no one could see coming.
Yeah,
On the outside, he looked just like everyone else, but
yeah,
inside, something was happening that would challenge everything people thought they knew. When the truth finally came out, it shocked everyone. And the reason
wow, really?
behind it is far more unbelievable than you could ever imagine. Noah Carter was 21 years old, a bright, curious American college student studying medicine. On the
Yeah,
surface, he was just like everyone else. Books scattered on his desk, late-night study sessions, laughter with friends in the
yeah,
cafeteria. But deep inside, Noah carried a secret dream that no one around him could even imagine.
really?
Whenever he saw women walking around campus with baby bumps, or
Yeah,
new mothers holding infants in their arms,
yeah,
something stirred inside him. While others just smiled politely, Noah felt something stronger, a longing. He wanted to know what it felt like to carry life, to feel a baby kick inside, to
yeah,
experience the same emotions women did. At first, he pushed those feelings aside. He told himself it was strange, impossible, but the thought never left him. Day by day, the feeling grew stronger. Being a medical student only made Noah more curious. He
really?
studied reproduction, IVF, and pregnancies in his textbooks with a level of attention that went far beyond exams. His professors thought he was simply ambitious, but Noah was quietly fascinated by the idea of experiencing it himself. Late at night, when his roommate was asleep, Noah would search online for stories about men and pregnancy. Most were just theories, rare medical cases, or even debates. But Noah's mind kept whispering, what if? What if it was me? Eventually,
Yeah,
his curiosity turned into determination. He didn't just want to
wow, really?
dream anymore. He wanted to try. One day,
Yeah,
after weeks of wrestling with the thought, Noah made a bold choice. During his winter vacation, when most students were heading home to their families, Noah stayed behind. He told everyone he was busy with a research project, and nobody questioned him. After all, he was a medical student.
yeah,
But in truth, he was preparing for something life-changing. In a quiet clinic
okay.
far from campus, Noah went through a uterus transplant. It was painful, risky, and terrifying, but to him it was the only way to make his dream possible. For weeks, he recovered in silence, hiding his scars under thick sweaters, telling his friends he was just tired from exams. And when the doctors finally gave him the green light, Noah took the next step. He decided to go for IVF. Of course, he couldn't tell his parents, his professors,
Yeah,
or his friends. No one would understand. They would
true.
laugh, call him crazy,
Yeah,
or worse, reject him completely. So, Noah kept it all a secret. The day IVF procedure was done, he walked back to his dorm like nothing had happened. Inside, though, his heart raced with both fear and excitement. Would it even work? Was this a mistake? Or was this the beginning of something extraordinary? Weeks
yeah,
passed. Noah
yeah,
kept up with his classes, his late-night study sessions, his vlogs about college life. To the outside world,
yeah,
he was still the same Noah Carter. But privately, he waited. Then, one morning, it happened. The test turned positive. His hands trembled as he stared at it. He wasn't dreaming anymore. He was
wow, okay,
pregnant.
great.
Tears
Yeah,
filled his eyes, not just of fear, but also of joy.
wow,
But
yeah,
along with joy came a heavy weight. How would I hide this? How would I survive college like this?
yeah,
At first, it wasn't obvious. He wore loose hoodies, skipped sports, and stayed quiet when his friends joked around. But as the weeks turned into months, things got harder. His body began to change. His energy dropped. The nausea and cravings became harder to hide. His roommates started to notice. Classmates whispered when Noah excused himself too often.
yeah,
Rumors spread. Some people thought he was sick, others thought he was using drugs. Noah stayed silent, praying no one would find out. But secrets don't stay hidden forever. One day,
true. Secrets are the way of coming up.
during
Yeah,
a group study session, Noah suddenly felt a sharp pain. He winced, clutching his stomach. His classmates stared, confused. One of them blurted out, "Noah, are you pregnant?" The room went silent. Noah's face turned pale. He didn't answer, but his silence was enough. Within days, The whispers spread across campus. The boy who studied medicine was now the boy who was pregnant. The backlash was brutal. People laughed behind his back. Some
Wow.
openly mocked him. Others whispered cruel comments in the cafeteria. Even on his vlogs, the comment section turned harsh. Freak. This is disgusting. Men can't get pregnant. What's wrong with him? The words cut deeper than any knife. Noah stopped eating with his friends. He stayed in his dorm more often, crying silently into his pillow. The worst part? His parents didn't know yet. He couldn't bring himself to tell them. He feared they would never accept him, that they would feel ashamed. At his lowest moment, Noah considered giving up. One night, overwhelmed by shame, fear, and exhaustion, he told himself maybe the only solution was abortion. Maybe then,
Wow.
the whispers would stop. Maybe then, life would go back to normal. But when he went to the clinic, sitting there in the waiting room, he placed a hand on his stomach. A faint kick answered him. His eyes filled with tears. No, he whispered. You didn't ask for this. You deserve life. Noah stood up and walked out. He wasn't going to give up. Not on his
Wow.
baby. Months later, the day finally came. Noah went into labor alone in his dorm.
Oh.
His roommate panicked
Yeah.
and called an ambulance. The pain was unbearable, his body trembling, but he held on.
Yeah.
Hours later, Noah heard the cry of his baby for the
Oh.
first time. A boy, tiny, fragile, perfect. As tears streamed down his face, Noah realized every insult, every judgment, every cruel word had been worth it. But
Wow.
the hardest part still remained. His parents.
Yeah.
They hadn't visited during the pregnancy, too afraid of what society would say. Noah felt abandoned, but he kept calling them, begging them to come. At first, they refused. But after days of calls, his mother finally arrived
Yeah.
at the hospital. She walked into the room nervously, her eyes falling on the baby in Noah's arms. For a moment, silence hung heavy. Then, tears rolled down her cheeks. She sat beside Noah, gently touching the baby's tiny hand. His father came later, still stiff, still worried about what people will say. But when the baby opened his eyes, even he softened. The judgment of society suddenly seemed small compared to the miracle of new life.
True.
Noah's journey wasn't easy. He faced
No.
whispers, bullying,
Yeah.
and isolation. But he chose courage over fear. He chose life over judgment. And in
Yeah.
the end, he showed the world that sometimes following your heart, no matter how unusual or misunderstood, leads to the most beautiful outcomes.
True.
Parenthood, in any form, is never a mistake. It is
Yeah.
a blessing. And
Yeah.
love, acceptance, and courage are always stronger than society's
Yeah.
criticism. So, what about you? If you were one of Noah's classmates, or a friend, or even a stranger watching his story online, how would you react? Would you laugh, judge, or would you see the courage it takes to bring life into the world against all
See,
odds?
I will
Think
see
carefully,
the
because
covers. Yeah.
sometimes the way we respond to others says more about us than it does about them.
Yeah. True though. Yeah. I will pick. I see the covers. You know. Our California became pregnant as if no one could believe by Decathlon. The link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out and drop a like if you like. And comment below if you want to see more reaction like this one. And subscribe if you're new and click the post so you can be notified for me below. And if you watching on Twitter, the link to the video will be the description on top. And follow me and click the post so you can be notified for me below in my bye. Wow.